My friends don't need jobs, 'cause they all sell drugs. Spend their pride.
When first listening to a Slaughter Beach Dog song, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed. The lyrics are vague, yet specific, keeping up with the world building can feel like an arduous task, and the progression from album to album is intimidating, as is their ability to reinvent themselves with each release. Every album includes a drastic change in sound, challenging fans to open up to their latest experiment. By blending indie, pop, and folk, and in the tiny crevices placing hints of modern baseball, Slaughter Beach Dog creates a distant but familiar warmth. So what makes their music noteworthy, and how has their sound evolved over time? Jake Ewald started Slaughter Beach Dog in 2014. It began as a side project to his former band Modern Baseball as a way to help him overcome writer's block. Tired and unable to write songs for Mobo, Jake started writing fictional scenarios. He created characters, narratives, and wrote songs about them, which ended up getting him excited about songwriting all over again. He released his first EP, Dog, in August 2014. It was 5 tracks and offered a glimpse into the world he would soon create. It didn't deviate too far from his work in Mobo, but it gave the sense he was growing as a songwriter and wouldn't stick to this style forever. After releasing Dog, Jake began to see Slaughter Beach's potential to stand on its own, but at the time he was at the will of Mobo's busy tour schedule, so he maintained Slaughter Beach as a side project and wrote for it on his free time. On September 30th, 2016, Jake teamed up with Lamo Records to release their first LP, Welcome. Welcome was a character study of residents who lived in a fictional town called Slaughter Beach. This release shows Jake expanding his songwriting efforts, leaning further into indie rock and folk territory, not unlike one of his biggest inspirations, The Weakerthans. Through upbeat rock tracks like Monsters and sad acoustic ballads such as Politics of Grooming, Jake paints heartfelt scenes. While the stories and characters on Welcome are fictional, Jake makes it easy to identify with the goings-on in the town he's created, with relatable tales which drive the story and add depth to his characters, making his fictional town feel all the more real. Characters like his love interest Annie make multiple appearances throughout the track list, incentivizing listeners to pay special attention to the stories told within the lyrics. Jake says his favorite experience to have with bands is to be rewarded by repeat listens and figuring out things as you go along. Welcome is a fun listen, but feels rudimentary at times when compared to Jake's later work. It shows just a fraction of what he's capable of in terms of storytelling and conveying emotion through instruments. On February 23rd, 2017, Modern Baseball announced their indefinite hiatus, letting fans know they'd be postponing their upcoming tour. Jake used this unfortunate circumstance to develop Slaughter Beach. He poured all of his time and energy into writing the songs he wanted to create, without limits or expectations. That summer, he released a 4-song EP titled Motorcycle JPEG, serving as a signpost for where he'd be taking Slaughter Beach, with the standout track being 104 Degrees, a spoken word love story, unlike anything he'd made before. As Modern Baseball played their final shows in October 2017, Jake was in the process of promoting and releasing Slaughter Beach's second LP, Birdie. It's the first album in their discography where Jake seems to be in his element, like he's found the sound he wanted to pursue and dug into it as deep as possible. The instrumentals on Birdie are tranquil and serene, like walking through a park as autumn rolls in. It's a soothing experience from start to finish, laced with pop hooks and delicate melodies. The storytelling is poignant and tighter than ever before, and evokes the strangest sense of nostalgia, like visiting the house you grew up in as a child. On Birdie, Jake seems to mix fiction and reality, making references to real events like how his family was basically kicked out of a town on track Pretty Okay, but also references fictional characters like Annie on the album's final song, Acolyte. Without question, Birdie contains some of Jake's best work to date, and many fans consider this to be their favorite Slaughter Beach release. But I'd argue their greatest work is on their following album. Jake and Slaughter Beach toured off Birdie for about 2 years before putting out their next album. On May 28, 2019, they announced their third LP, Safe and Also No Fear, alongside 2 new singles. The announcement also revealed the band was now a full-fledged act, with 3 additional members, including Ian Farmer of Mobo, Nick Harris of All Dogs, and Zach Robbins from Super Heaven. Safe and Also No Fear was the first album they worked on as a unit, as previous Slaughter Beach albums were a solo venture for Jake, in which he played every instrument. But this time, he and his friends fleshed out the entire album together from start to finish. While Birdie felt warm and frothy, like a glass of milk before bed, Safe and Also No Fear feels like trying to fall asleep while having a bad experience with an edible, coming to scary realizations, feeling anxious, confused, and unsure how to navigate through the dark as the light grows dimmer and dimmer. Stereogum pegged it as a swerve toward darkness, and the album's first 2 singles, One Down and Good Ones, emanate this, featuring lyrics about growing older and the unnerving yet comforting monotony of daily life. It's a tough album to describe, and it's almost impossible to pick out what influenced them while writing it. It's atmospheric, crushing, and makes outstanding use of space. In an interview, Jake states, "In a lot of those quiet parts, it's just so sensitive. It was harder for us to pull off when we were writing it, but we knew how each other would play and weren't afraid to say, let's try making this quieter, let's subtract the stuff. It's gonna be more easily breakable, but I think we can pull it off." Safe and Also No Fear is an odd first listen. It doesn't reach out and grab your heart right away like their previous albums. Instead, it invites you in slow, revealing more of itself with each repeat listen. It's not an easy album to fall in love with, but it's the type you create a lifelong tie with once a connection has been made. Due to touring restrictions in 2020, Slaughter Beach didn't have much time to tour off Safe and Also No Fear. However, the gap in touring allowed Jake to write and release an entire album. He recorded it at the Metal Shop in Philadelphia and at home from June to October 2020. Unlike Safe and Also No Fear, Jake wrote their new album all by himself, due to the fact they couldn't get together and record safely. In December 2020, Slaughter Beach started posting strange daily video clips to their Instagram in a mock advent calendar fashion. It seemed to intrigue and irritate fans in equal parts. But after 23 days of waiting, Slaughter Beach delivered a gift on the 24th of December 2020. At the Moonbase is an album that's still sinking in for me, and it doesn't feel right to give a convicted opinion on it without spending at least a year listening to it. But at this point in time, I can tell you this: I love it so much. But that love may fade or grow within the coming years, so I won't try to rank it within their discography just yet. At the Moonbase shows Jake at his best. His delivery is more confident than ever, especially on spoken word-esque tracks like Do You Understand and Notes from a Brief Engagement, featuring monologues and stream of consciousness lyrics. The use of saxophones lends the album a grand feel, like you're watching a big band play in a ballroom with those heavy curtains and candlelit tables. Their song A Modern Lay captures this feeling. It's an escapade through the great American bedroom, featuring a saxophone breakdown and vivid tales of workers on a production line. Every song on the album begs for repeat listens, as the lyrical content is dense and rich, as well as the instrumentation. Even after being out for a short time, I've already gone back to tracks and been like, oh, I didn't notice that before. You can effectively do this with any band or song, but with Slaughter Beach, it's different, because you know Jake meticulously labored over single words, notes, and phrases. And as a listener, it's fun to do the same. I desire to put in the same hard work he did when I'm digesting his art, but from a place of observation, not creation. It's a special experience I don't have with any other band. Being a Slaughter Beach fan is a balance between appreciating their past work while staying receptive and excited about their new material, even if it's not the direction you were expecting them to go, and it almost never is. No matter what genre they take on, and no matter how much they change, we'll always be there to support them. Over time, they're building a specific empire, one that's not for everyone, but one that everyone is welcome to join, if they want to. Alright, so I don't usually do this at the end of my videos, but I really just wanted to tell a quick story, a little ramble for everyone that wants to tune in for a couple more seconds. So the other day, I was driving my roommate Joey and I to the store. We were chilling in my car. I was like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna throw on some music. I'm gonna play him some Slaughter Beach Dog. I didn't really say anything. I just wanted to see his reaction to it. But I remember the song I put on was Notes from a Brief Engagement, the last song from their latest album. And about a minute and a half in, specifically the part where Jake says the instrument cable was making a weird it's like my friend Joey, roommate too, he was like, wow dude, I don't like this at all. Like, he's like, what's up with the weird monologues and like random stories and like observations? And I was like, dude, that's the best part. Thank you for watching. I hope you have an awesome day.